phantom slowly, gravely, silently approached. When it came, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for in the very air through which this spirit moved it seemed to scatter gloom and mystery. It was shrouded in a deep, black garment, which hid its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand. It was difficult to distinguish it from the black night that separated from the darkness by which it was surrounded. "Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come?" asked Scrooge. "Oh, I fear you more than any spirit." The ghost did not say a word, and Scrooge's legs trembled beneath him. He found that he could hardly stand when he prepared to follow it. "I know your purpose is to do me good," Scrooge said. "Lead on." They wandered into the heart of the city amongst the merchants, and the spirit stopped beside one little knot of businessmen. Observing that the hand was pointed to them, Scrooge advanced to listen to their talk. "Oh no," said a large man with a monstrous chin. "I don't know much about it either way. I only know that he's dead." "Oh, well, when did he die?" inquired another. "Last night, I believe." "What was the matter with him?" asked a third. "I thought he'd never die." "Oh, God knows," said the first with a yawn. "And what has he done with his money?" asked a red-faced gentleman. "That's what I want to know." "Oh, I haven't heard," said the man with the large chin, yawning again. "Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know." "Well, I don't mind going to his funeral then." "What do you mean?" "Oh, I'll go, if lunch is provided." This pleasantry was received with a general laugh. Speakers and listeners strolled away and mixed with other groups. Scrooge knew the men, and looked towards the spirit for an explanation. The phantom glided on into a street without a word. Following, Scrooge resolved to treasure up every word he heard and everything he saw, despite not knowing what this all meant. He especially resolved to observe the shadow of himself when it appeared, for he had an inkling that the conduct of his future self would give him the clue he was missing. The ghost led them away from the busy scene and into an obscure part of the town, where Scrooge had never been before, although he had heard of its bad reputation. The whole place reeked of crime, filth, and misery. Down one of the foul, narrow alleyways was a shop owned by an elderly crook, who was inviting in some of his fellow thieves into his den. As they talked, it became apparent to Scrooge that they had brought stolen objects with them, and were making fun of the person who once owned these things. A woman laughed. She wondered why he wasn't kinder in his lifetime, for if he had been, he might have had somebody to look after him when he was dying, instead of lying gasping out his last breath all alone. As each of the thieves presented their goods to the shop owner to sell, they kept making their taunts. "How should I buy this? He didn't die of anything catching, did he? And he frightened everybody away who ever loved him. In fact, he had frightened away everybody who was alive, to profit from us when he was dead." "Spirit," said Scrooge, shuddering from head to foot, "I say, the case of this unhappy man might be my own. If there's any person in this town who feels emotion caused by my death, show me that person to me, spirit, I beseech you." The phantom spread its dark robe before him for a moment, and the scene changed. The ghost led Scrooge through streets that were familiar to him. As they went along, Scrooge looked here and there to find himself, but nowhere was he to be seen. They entered poor Bob Cratchit's house, and found the mother and the children by the low, meagre fire. It was quiet, yes, very quiet. The noisy little Cratchits were still as statues. When Bob Cratchit came in, the children hurried to him. Then the two young Cratchits got upon his knees and laid their little cheeks before his face, as if to say, "Don't mind it, father. Don't be sad." Scrooge's wife, Mrs. Cratchit, had inquired to Bob if he had went to the graveyard that day. "Oh, yes, my dear," returned Bob. "Oh, I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green the place is.
But you see it, orphan. I promised him that we would go there and walk every Sunday. Oh, my little child, cried Bulb. Oh, my little child.
He broke down in tears. He couldn't help it. He left the room and went upstairs into the room above, which was lighted cheerfully and hung with Christmas decorations. "Spectre," said Scrooge, "something tells me that our parting moment is at hand." The ghost moved on again, taking Scrooge through the iron gates of a churchyard. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one. Scrooge slowly went towards it, trembling, and following the ghost's finger read upon the stone of the grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. "Oh, spirit!" Scrooge cried. "Are these the shadows of things that will be, or can this future be changed? Hear me, I'm not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been so far. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Oh, good spirit, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try and keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall be within me. Please tell me that I may yet sponge the writing from that stone. I will not ignore the lessons that the spirits have taught me this night. Oh, tell me that I may change my fate." Full of fear, Scrooge caught the spirit's hand, but the spirit suddenly changed. It shrunk and faded, and finally turned into a bedpost. Hey everyone, that's going to do it for Chapter 4. This chapter took quite a bit of recording to do. It is the saddest chapter of this story, so that's why it took so long for me to record. I had to get into my emotions here on this one. Thank you so much for listening to this. It really makes me happy that you have listened to me so far. I will try and get Chapter 5 up as soon as I can. I've been doing this on my new recording devices, so I am really excited to see how this turns out. If you want to continue listening, just do so. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video with your friends. This really helps me, and I'm really glad that you have done this for me. And I'm really glad that you guys have stuck around for me all this time. I will be back with Chapter 5 hopefully tomorrow, like I said. But if not, I will try and get it done after the new year. And once again, I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas, and